Welcome back to Daybreak here on Citizen TV. It's Fashion Friday, and this morning we're talking about an aspect that's a little bit away from what we normally focus on here. We've seen models, we've talked to fashion designers, but what do you know about pattern cutting? We're going to find out more with our guest for today, and a small demonstration as well. I'll have her go ahead and introduce herself.
My name is Magdalene Wangeshi Morevi. I'm a fashion designer, but specialized in pattern cutting.
Yeah.
I have done fashion for over 20 years.
Wow.
It has been my passion, and I'm still on that road of fashion, yes.
So I'll have you know that you're the first pattern cutter that we've had here on Fashion Friday. And a lot of people watching might not even know what that is, because we're used to just seeing either the final products or talking to designers about, you know, structures of clothing and such, but it's a much more established or elongated process if you want it to be done well. So tell us what pattern cutting actually is.
Pattern cutting is a form of cutting patterns on paper. Because when you do it on paper, it is likely that you're not going to make a mistake on fabric. So when you learn pattern cutting, you learn how to cut patterns, what design, any design you will cut with pattern cutting, which is done internationally. The sizes are international, so all you have to do is just create a design and we cut the patterns for you.
How did you learn how to do this?
I went to school, but when I started fashion design when I was very young. So that time when I was young, I was in Form 1, Form 2 in school. I could take my father's clothes and I could rip them off, and I could try and cut a pattern using just, you know how you just use it with your mind. Yeah. But finally, when I reached Form 4 and finished, I went to college. Mom took me to college, fashion college, and that's when I learned pattern cutting. Yeah. My teacher was really good in pattern cutting. Wow. Yes.
Why is it that most of us, or many of us, don't have an understanding of the actual process of how a garment comes to be? Because we think you buy material, you take it to a fundi, and they pima you and make you whatever you want. That's sort of what we're used to.
Yes. Yeah. And that's okay. But fashion design is a serious business. So when you take your outfit to a fundi, it's a process. He cuts it on fabric, but us as fashion designers, we cut it on paper first, because that is where you see the mistake on paper. But if you cut it on fabric, you have already messed the fabric. So we cut it on paper first. We put seam allowances. We look at it. We see that the measurements are all right on paper, and then now we cut on fabric. Okay. Yes.
Are there many pattern cutters in Kenya? Because you're the first that I've met.
All designers are pattern cutters if they have gone to school.
Right.
But they don't want to do pattern cutting because there's a lot of math. You have to do a lot of math in it. Yeah. So they get the fundi cuts for them. And that is why you'll see a lot of mistakes even when you're doing the outfit. There's a slight mistake here, there's a slight mistake there. Yeah. But if they have fundis who can actually cut for them, and they have gone through school, they know what pattern cutting is. Yeah. It's a very long process.
So it's about being precise in your final product.
Yes.
Talk to us about the materials and the tools that you use for this.
Okay, we have scissors for cutting, we have sellotape or glue, which you need to stick if like if you're cutting a circular, you need to stick brown paper, you need to stick paper and you stick the glue. There is metric rulers, there is tracing wheels for tracing the pattern on paper, tracing the pattern on fabric, and there is French curves where you do your curves so that your curves must be perfect. There is no human being who is just straight. Right. We have to curve the patterns.
So what happens when, for example, clothing is being mass-produced? Do designers also do this for mass-produced items? Or is this just for custom-made pieces?
You can do this for mass-produced, but you can do it on computer. They have a package that is only for pattern drafting. So you can actually put it on computer, and you can make sure that the patterns there are right, and you can produce the pattern on paper, and then now they do a sample, and then now they mass produce.
Yes. So it's digitized. This process is digitized as well. Yeah. How long does it take you from conception to pattern cutting to fabric cutting to a final product?
When I'm doing pattern cutting, it depends on the design. because you have to start from block patterns, then you go to working patterns and final patterns. So because I'm experienced, I will do like a skirt. I can do like a skirt like for 20 minutes, just depending on the design that you give me. If it's just a plain skirt, I'll do it even for 10 minutes, and I finish, and then I put it on fabric, I cut, and then I take it for production.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so how about we get a brief demonstration of the process of pattern cutting, since you brought your tools with you here, and you can talk us along as you go. Okay.
This is a block pattern. This is a block pattern for a skirt.
Okay.
It's an X large skirt. Okay. So if my client is X large, all I have to do is trace. This block pattern, you can do any design with it.
Okay.
You can do all designs with it. But I'll just do a simple design. I'll do a pencil skirt. Okay. So you have to trace. You have to trace the pattern.
So tracing based on this you had cut earlier?
Yes, I'd cut earlier. I've got blocks. I've got blocks from size 6 to size 26. So I just picked a block.
All right. Is this just regular cardboard that you're using? Is there a special
Yes,
type
it's just brown paper, simple brown paper for covering books. That's what people use.
So just...
You just trace. Now the body is divided into 4 when you're doing pattern cutting.
Okay.
So this is a front piece which has just 1 dot. The back piece has 2 dots. That's how you know that it's fashion made.
Okay. Got your ruler with you?
I use the ruler. Dots give shaping to the body, so you must have dots because it's not a stretch. So you must have a dot. This is a center front and there's a center back. So that's why we say we have got 4 pieces. So this is just half of the front. So you write a center front. You have to mark your work.
Yeah.
And you have to have grain lines.
Sorry.
So this in the skirt there's a hip line and there's a waistline.
Okay.
Africans usually are not exactly the standard measurements. Usually the hips are too big or the waist is too big. So if the waist is too big, then you add, and if the hip is too big, you just add, and you do your thing. So you just have straight lines.
Okay.
Now you cannot stitch this like this because you need to have a seam allowance.
Okay.
Seam allowance is an allowance for the fundi to stitch. Okay, so you must add the seam allowance. So we add like ½ an inch.
Okay, and that's just sort of freehand there.
Yes. Yeah, you just add like ½ an inch. The length of the skirt depends on the client or depends on your design.
So for someone who never went to school for this,
Yes.
I'd be watching and saying,
Yeah.
I thought I was a fashion designer.
Yes.
But,
Yes. Now,
it's quite involved.
Yes, it's very involving because now people go to media, social media, and they say, I want to be a designer, which is good,
And I've interviewed a lot of young people who are just like, I think I have the eye.
Yes, yes. And they want to be designers, and that's good because, you know, designing is also creating.
Yeah.
So you might be good at creating, and somebody else might be good at cutting, and somebody else might be good at stitching.
So it's important to understand.
Yes, to know where you are. They are good. There are fashion marketers who are also really good, but they're not fashion designers, but they are really good at marketing your work. Okay. So you need to know where your strength lies, so that you get a final good product. Okay. So you cut through this.
So this is, you said how many panels? There are 4 panels?
There are 4 panels.
Okay.
There's usually the center. The front has 2, and the back has 2.
So this is
when
just
you're doing
one.
fashion. This is just one of the front.
Okay.
Okay. when you have to put grain lines. When you put a grain line, it shows you how to place it on fabric.
Okay.
That's
what is a grain line?
Grain line is it's a line that shows you. It's just a line that shows you how to place it on fabric. Ah. Okay, so that's a grain line. That's a grain line. So either you're going to fold. When you're cutting fabric, you fold the fabric so that it's equal, so that your fronts are equal and your back are equal.
Okay.
Okay. So this is just a simple skirt. If you want your skirt really tight, then you have to taper. You have to taper. You have to make it smaller as you go. Yeah, it's called tapering. Okay. Yes, so that it fits, and it has to be like stretched, because if it's not stretched, then you have to put a slit behind. Okay. So that is your front piece, which is ready for cutting on fabric.
So is this pattern going to change based on the material that's intended to be used?
Yes, for me to even cut your patterns, I need to see your fabric.
Okay.
So that I know what pattern I'm using, because there's a difference between what do you call it, a stretch fabric and woven fabric.
Yeah.
So when I'm cutting woven fabric, I cannot cut the same pattern with stretch.
Yeah.
The stretch fabric is smaller because it stretches. Yeah, so it has its different blocks. Okay. So this one is for woven, woven fabric.
Okay, understood.
So that you don't have, you know, when you wear an outfit and then they have folds here. Yeah, that needs to go. Yeah. Right. You can understand.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you're doing, this is the back now. Okay. The back for a fashion designer has 2 darts.
Okay.
Even if you're buying second-hand clothes, if you see the 2 darts, it's designer made. But if it's 1-1, that's a shortcut. Yeah, it's a shortcut.
Wow. This is interesting. Now, if you're watching Fashion Friday and you have any questions or comments, you can tweet at Citizen TV Kenya or myself at Joey_Muthengi using the hashtag Daybreak. For those of you who didn't know that it takes this much, effort for your clothing to be made, and you wonder why designers are charging a little bit more. It's not just taking it to the foodie. There's a back process.
Yes, there's a lot of process.
So this is a panel for the back. Yes,
so you have to put darts because the waist will never be the same as the hips. Hips are usually larger. Okay. According now to your client, or if you want to do sizes, then it's the same thing. Sorry. Okay.
So you trace that outline for that?
Yes, because you have to start the block, then you go to the working pattern. Working pattern is when you have a design that is, like now if you have a design like this, you have to put it on the working pattern. Okay? So you just do your darts. You know, you must make your darts clear, because when the Fundi is teaching, he needs to know this is a dart, these are balance marks where you're going to join front and back. Okay. Yes.
And this will also have a room for
allowances. You must put allowance. Otherwise, the outfit becomes smaller. Yeah. You must put allowance. Yeah. So even when people are learning online, they will still come and they'll say, no, I tried to do it online and still not working. You see, so.
You said these what you're doing now can be digitized.
Yes.
How does that process work?
It's the GABA Technologies have come up with some digital, and they have put all the layouts. All you have to do is key in, and you put your size. Yes. Okay. And if you're my client, I will come and tell you this is how you're going to look if you wear this outfit. Oh. And then you just come and you approve or tell me, no, add this. Oh, no, that's too tight. Like that. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
It has not, here it's in the big companies because it's expensive.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yes, it's expensive, so it's in the big companies, so that's why maybe EPZ would have it. And it is, for the small designers, they will just have to do with paper. By hand. Yes. And anybody who wants to learn will just have to do it on paper. Yeah. Okay. So this is the back. The back usually has the zip.
Oh, right,
yes.
Right.
So it will never be on fold. You cannot put it on fold. Okay. Because you have to add the zip section and you have to add the slits. But if it is a stretch, you don't have to add the slit.
Yeah.
Okay. So now for a skirt, this is through. I'm through with the pattern.
Okay.
Yes.
So you'll use 2 of these and 2 of these.
Yes. When you cut on fold, you'll put this on fold and you'll put the other one not on fold.
Yeah.
Because there's a seam. There's a seam at the back.
This is fascinating stuff. My mind is blown. I had no idea.
So when it comes to the bodices have got darts. So you need to know how to manipulate the darts.
Yeah.
You need to know I can move the dart to this side. There are ways that you can move the dart somewhere else. It doesn't have to stick there.
So to start from this process of pattern cutting, obviously you have to work with a fundi who understands
yes.
this work.
Yes.
Do most of our local fundis understand pattern cutting and the whole process?
For my students, so I have workshops.
Okay.
And I go to my clients who are maybe business ladies. And I do for them patterns, and then I go to their fundis and I explain to them. Now when you're explaining, they'll understand. They say, oh, this is what it's called. Because me, I'm just going to use the fashion language. I'm just going to say a center front line, a center. They won't understand that.
Yeah.
But then I go to them, I tell them, this is the front, they'll understand. So as they continue using the pattern, they tend to understand what is going on.
Yeah.
Sometimes they even wonder, why are you putting that dart there? Then I tell them, no, that will help. Just do it and you will see. So when they do, they say, oh, yeah, it helps like that.
Yeah.
Because even them, they're learning.
Right.
Yes.
So from this process, what would be the next process after what
the
you've
next
just
process
done?
is placing it on fabric. And then I have a sample of a fabric that is too big.
Yeah.
And then now you cut. You trace your lines, and then you just cut it, and then give the fundi.
Yeah.
The fundi stitches.
Wow.
If your design is complicated, you must put it on calico as sample fabric, so that if there are any blunders or anything that you want to change, you change it from there.
Wow.
And then now you change it on the pattern.
Okay.
So that now when you're doing mass production, the pattern is correct.
Yeah.
And you just mass produce.
Yeah.
Yes.
The outfit you have on, did you design that yourself?
Oh yes, I don't wear anything.
You don't wear anybody else's design?
I will wear something that is bought maybe by my mom or my sisters.
Yeah.
But something that is mine, even everybody just knows. Just get her fabric,
Yeah.
because she's not even going to wear what I'll not go and buy something outside.
Talk to us about the workshops you hold and why you decided that that's an important part of what you do.
Okay, we sat with a friend of mine and we realized the problem is in the pattern cutting. So we hold workshops, like if it's cuts, we advertise, we tell them that today we are going to learn about skirts. Maybe give you 2 days, we learn about the skirts. You ask all the questions you want to ask, because believe me not, most of the designers or fundis have no knowledge of how a complicated design will come and how they're going to do it. You see, they'll just do something simple.
Yeah.
So if you can help out, I would rather just help out. Instead of all the time you hear, oh, designers, oh, fundis, they're doing a bad job. You better buy an outfit. You
know the funny thing, I'm going to my fundi right after the show. And sometimes he lets me down. Sometimes I have to go back a second time and say, hey, what's up?
Yes. You know, if I've done an outfit for you, I already have your block. So any design, you don't even have to see me. All you have to do is send the design on WhatsApp. You tell me, this is the design that I want.
Yeah.
I already have your pattern. I already have your block.
Yeah.
Even if you come the first time and we changed somewhere, I change it on the block. And all the time you come, your outfits should just fit you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be ideal.
Yes, that would be ideal. So if you're doing ready to wear, you just mass produce and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And if you're doing one-on-one, you need to make a block. If you know that Joy is going to be my client for the next how many years, you need to do that.
What type of fabrics do you prefer to work with? I know you brought some.
I brought African, but I love cotton.
Yeah.
But I can
just take a look at what this is.
Yes. I do a lot of, for children, I do sizes.
Okay.
I do sizes from 0 to 3 months.
Oh, that's cute.
to about 8 years.
You just hold that up so I can
to about 8 years. It's tiny.
That is adorable.
So I do like many colors.
Yeah.
And then I just distribute to my friends and because if somebody tells you to mass produce, they'll be able to tell you like do 300 pieces or 400 pieces, and then you wonder, will I hack?
Yeah.
No, let me tell you, if you can't hack something, tell the client. Imagine I can't hack. Wow. Because you will have stress all the time thinking, I have not delivered. Fundis need to deliver on time.
Is there a team that you work with, or do you do most of?
Oh no, I have a team.
Right.
I have my fundis,
yeah,
and I and I have some other designers that we can do pattern cutting with.
Yeah.
And the ones I've trained, if I have a lot of work, I tell them, I have trained you. Do for me some pattern cutting.
Right.
Yes.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to know more about this, or also attend your workshops and just be a little bit more skilled in what they're doing?
Okay, I have a page. I just have Malena's Fashions page. And
Malena's
Fashions.
Okay.
And maybe they call me, most of my clients call me, most of the people that I'm training, they just call me, and I just, because this is one-on-one. I can't even tell you on phone, cut here, do this. No, I need to be there. I need to show you this is how it's done. This is practical. You know, it's like a practical job. You know how people don't like practicals? Yeah. They just want to do the final product. So whoever is interested just calls me. I can give them my number. Yeah, sure. 0723 550 503. Yeah. And then I teach in hours, because most of the people are busy. They don't want to go to school like from 8 until 5. They just want like from maybe 2 hours a day, or 3 days in a week for maybe 2 hours. They just, it's their time. Yeah. I just need them to tell me what, and then me, I can adjust. Yeah. Because the more people learn about pattern making, the more clothes will be done well.
Exactly. And we need more of that. Yes. Finally, a word to upcoming designers who've just seen what you're doing here.
They must learn how to cut. They must learn pattern cutting. All designers must learn pattern cutting. Yeah. Because even if like now, I don't even have to stitch. I know how to stitch. I know pattern cutting. I can do my marketing, but I don't do all that. Okay. So what I do is that I love pattern cutting. So I'll give somebody else to stitch. So as a designer, I want all designers to learn how to pattern cut and stitch. Yeah. So that even when you're giving somebody your work, you say, no, this is wrong. You know, like sometimes I can take my pattern cutting, or Fundis will take their pattern cutting, and they will just tell me, how do I do this? And I just give them I tell them, no, this is wrong. You know, even a designer will come to me and they'll tell me, Wangeshi, Ebu check my design, Ebu check my pattern. I tell them, no, don't do this, do this. So we help one another in the cutting also. Yeah. So it is good for people to learn. Pattern cutting is important for everybody to learn. Very important.
I completely agree.
Yeah, then
there's a lot of people who say, you know, that we don't support local designers or whatnot. And sometimes you've been disappointed in the past. You've had things made that just kind of don't turn out the right way. They add things, they remove things, and, you know, it's not fitting. So I think it's important to know the fundamentals.
Yes, pattern cutting is important. Yeah. And if the more people learn it, the more it will be better for all of us. Yeah. That's what I can tell my designers, my designers. And let's support one another. Yeah. Because Joe, if I mess your outfit now, you're not going to come to me again. Even if I learn pattern cutting. You see, so you better learn it first. Yeah. And then now,
develop clientele.
Then you develop a clientele. Well, and if you don't know, you're not good at pattern cutting, please get somebody else to do for your pattern cutting for you, so that you don't mess anybody's outfit. Yeah. Because in pattern cutting, if your hips are 60 or if your hips are 30, my pattern should be reading 30. Yeah. So as the Fundi stitches, he stitches 30. Yeah. And when that client comes, good takes her outfit and says, thank you so much, I'll come back. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. I know it was short notice, but, but you shared a different aspect of fashion with us here on Fashion Friday, and we definitely appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
We've got more coming up on Daybreak. Of course, DJ Roy T-Boy coming up on Level Up Friday with some awesome music to get you into the weekend mode. So stay tuned for more.